Doug, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It was very, very nice. And good afternoon, everyone. Before I get started, I do want to take a quick opportunity to recognize Doug. I think you know that Doug is a corporate sales manager, global sales manager. But what you don't know is how much Doug has put behind the scenes to try to promote this service and this concept of nonstop service between RDU and Paris. And he did a lot behind the scenes. So please help me thank him for getting this nonstop service between RDU and Paris. You know, it truly is a great day to visit Raleigh. Today, we're going to welcome more than 30,000 people to our home via RDU. And when we say welcome, we truly mean welcome to all. And when I think about all, I'm reminded of our Pledge of Allegiance. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask everybody to stand. And yes, this is the active participation part. And join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, in liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You know, it's interesting, if you listen to those words, justice for all comes out and it resonates. We were taught that when we went to grade school. At RDU, our vision is to deliver a world-class airport experience for all of our customers. And every day at RDU, we connect families, friends, and businesses, and those of us who work to bring visitors from across the world to our beautiful region via travel and tourism know how important it is to be open and welcoming. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you that are in the travel and tourism business that help welcome our customers through our front doors into this community. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So today I have an opportunity to share the RDU story. I'm going to do it in three vital parts. First, I'd like to share with you how we became an airport you know today. Second, then we'll discuss how the airline industry actually impacts airports. And then finally, let's talk about the future and how we can work together. First, the story. The story of RDU began back in 1938 when a man named Captain Eddie Rickenbacker, who was the president for Eastern Airlines, was a strong advocate for a commercial service airport right here in the Raleigh-Durham community. In 1940, the state acquired over 892 acres of land. They simply acquired it. But no sooner did they do that, the Secretary of War and Navy declared that the planned facility was necessary for national defense. In 1943, the War Department designated it the Raleigh-Durham Army Airfield. In spite of the war, Eddie's dream became a reality, and the Airport Authority persuaded the federal government to allow commercial airline service. And Eastern Airlines launched nonstop service in 1943 using an old Army barracks as a temporary terminal. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you, that truly is world class. In 1948, the military deeded that airbase back to the Raleigh-Durham Airport Authority in exchange for property conveyances and binding commitments to ensure that the public interest in civil aviation would be served. And it's not just the civil aviation interest of the citizens of this region, but the interest of the citizens of this country. And even though the airport grew steadily, it really wasn't until the 1980s that the growth really went into high gear. And it was during that era that the old blue box came into play. What you're probably familiar with today is what we call Terminal 1. And of course, we built a 10,000-foot runway, which you're sitting in Terminal 2 and looking out those windows. That's our longest runway, and that's our 10,000-footer. Then came parking garages, a general aviation complex, and in 2008, coming out of the ground was our crown jewel, Terminal 2, that was built. All told, we invested $1.7 billion in aviation infrastructure, fueling this region and connecting us to the globe. Additionally, a recent Division of Aviation study found that each year, RDU fuels an $8.5 billion economic impact and sustains more than 20,000 jobs in our local community and generates, get this, $148 million worth of state and local taxes, which go to support vital public infrastructure like public schools and public safety. And folks, We do that with only receiving $550,000 of local and state grants to support our infrastructure projects. Let me put this in perspective. That means we have to generate 99.5% of our income to run the operations at RDU. Now, let's share our history, and our impact is important to spend some time sharing the vital link between the airport and our airline partners. The airline industry is very fluid and can be highly volatile. For the greater part of a century, and especially after deregulation, the airlines experience a 30-plus year of instability and sustained substantial financial losses. A list of things: fuel prices, recessions, unprecedented world events had significant impact on this industry. And yet here at RDU, the air travel demand continued to grow. Well, why? Why did it continue to grow in our market? Because we have a very diverse economic base, strong education institutions, great medical facilities, R&D, and it's just simply a great place to visit. And since 2008, the airlines have become more disciplined and are now sustaining profits rather than losing their shirts, which is a good thing. Another key reason for their turnaround: consolidation. Since 2008, 8 major airlines have become 4, and those 6 global carriers have merged into 3, and the 2 low-cost carriers have become 1. Yet all of those 4 still remain standing at RDU. Consolidation had an unpleasant side effect, which was felt here. Airlines had reduced seats, and despite our high local demand, but back in 2007 was really what we consider to be our high water mark. That high water mark was we had 10 million customers that came through that facility. But then, at that time, more airlines actually offered more seats and more flights. And from 2007 until about 2009, we lost 16.5% of the seats in this market. 9 years later, however, we do see light at the end of the tunnel. And we will finally surpass those 2007 numbers and welcome more than 10 million customers this year into those facilities. It says on the monitor you're supposed to applaud here. Good. Just trying to keep you on track here. So what's ahead for the airlines? You know, the airline industry has matured in recent years. It's more profitable, it's more disciplined, and again, that's a good thing for us. The major global airlines, I'm not sure they want to tinker much with their system because their current business model works quite well, and they've really improved their overall product. There are areas for growth, however, and it really comes in the form of those ultra-low-cost carriers, the Allegiants and the Frontiers, but much smaller, but they are growing rapidly. One potential hurdle that's really looming out there: an airline pilot shortage, because we see those airline pilots starting to retire. And so while the airlines are trying to address this, it may have future impacts on service to RDU and future impacts to airports all across this country. But despite a few challenges, we have a very dynamic industry, and we remain very optimistic about the future. Today, 9 airlines that fly to 45 different nonstop destinations out of RDU. And last year, we were just shy of 10 million passengers, with 1.5 million of those customers being international travelers. Our vast service area extends from the Triad to the Crystal Coast, to Virginia, down into South Carolina. It is half of the state of North Carolina of what RDU actually serves. And Delta, American, and Southwest Airlines bring majority of our visitors to this beautiful region. And of course, airlines are adding service into our market. Delta, for sure, has added quite a bit of service, and we're very thankful for them. Along with Alaska, Allegiant, Southwest, and Frontier have all added flights in the past 2 years, giving visitors to our region more choices and lower fares. And of course, let's not forget the big win, because it truly was a big win, and that was the nonstop service between RDU and Paris. Once again, it says applause on the monitor. You know, it's interesting, when we were trying to promote this to the local community, why we needed to make an investment, we reach out to Dr. Michael Walden, who was an economist from NC State. And what we asked him is, what's the economic impact of just one flight, this one flight between RDU and Paris, going to have on this local community? His answer just floored us. If we consider 25 years of service for this flight, that one flight will generate $1.4 billion of economic impact. Let me repeat that, $1.4 billion of economic impact. You guys are getting a lot better because that was an impromptu. That wasn't on the screen. That was applause. So you're doing much better. And it's going to create 14,000 new jobs. It comes down to this. Air service development, it is economic development. I want to say thank you to Denny and to his entire team and the Greater Raleigh Convention and Visitors Bureau for investing in your new nonstop flight between RDU and Paris. We couldn't have done it without the partnership of the CVB. And what do I think this investment is going to do for this community? One, we're going to recruit international businesses to make investments right here in our region. Two, we're going to recruit international talent to come here and work for our companies. Three, we're going to recruit international talent to come to our fine universities we have right here in the Triangle. And finally, the thing that you're probably most interested in, we're going to recruit international travel and tourism right here to our front doorstep. And at that point in time, we need to be able to welcome them all to our community, and you've done a fantastic job doing that. I'm going to say it one more time. Air service development, it is economic development. Now let's start thinking about our future. Our vision is to deliver a world-class airport experience, and our Vision 2040 plan will help us do just that. Our board has tasked us with charting a future to develop a course that will serve the aviation needs of the Triangle beyond for the next 25 plus years. It's got to do a couple things. It's got to be safe, it's got to be efficient, it's got to be sustainable, it's got to be adaptable with the volatility within the industry, and most important, it has to enhance the customer experience. So here are a few big things that I think we'll see as part of the Vision 2040 program. First of all, I see that we'll be building a new consolidated rental car facility to better serve the visitors to their region. Two, we will have to rebuild and lengthen our 10,000-foot runway to accommodate international flights. That runway will have to get rebuilt in the next 3 to 5 years. It is at end of life. Three, we need to improve airport roadways and the number of vehicles coming to RDU, because as we continue to grow and the community grows, there will be more vehicles. Four, an important one, we need to connect the airport to the Wake County's transit plan. And I'm going to pause for a moment. And we need to recognize some folks that are in the audience. The Wake County commissioners, under their leadership, working with Jim Hartman and their entire team, who reached out to the economic development partners, to the business leaders and citizens of this region, and collectively came together with a very good transit plan. That team has done their job at this point. At this point, it is our job as citizens of this region to pass a transit plan in November, but it is up to us at this point in time. And as we indicated, connecting to that transit plan is going to be one of our priorities. And I think the final major thing that I think we'll see is we're going to need an additional 23 additional gates over the next 25 years. Staggering. This growth will not come without challenges, and we need to work together to ensure that we have facilities to support the aviation needs of our community and the visitors we want to attract to this region. One of our biggest challenges is funding the projects that will fuel our future. Our traditional sources of revenue have changed dramatically, and we have to creatively find new sources of revenue to remain self-sustaining. RDU faces significant capital funding needs in the future. You heard me mention some of the major projects in our future. There are many others critical to ensuring we can care for the aviation needs of our region. So your question right now is, well, how can we help? Help advocate for solutions. We need a greater share of federal funds and a greater investment by the state of North Carolina in your commercial service airport. Consider this. The citizens and visitors to our region only get about 5 cents on every dollar you spend in the form of tax that goes into a national trust fund. And we contribute $148 million in state tax revenue, yet only receive $500,000 back each year for infrastructure improvements. Going forward, the partnership between RDU and you, our travel and tourism partners, is going to be more important than ever. Site selectors, event planners, and tourists look for strong air service and world-class facilities. And so our interests are totally aligned. Stronger airport means a stronger tourism business, more hotel stays, more dinners, and foodies taking in local cuisine, and more visitors to our art museums, our sporting events, to our universities, and our hospitals. RDU and you, together we're stronger. Let's bring people together in our community from all over the world. I want to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share the RDU story with you, our friends in the travel and tourism industry, but we do have important work ahead of us. And we look forward to working together to ensure a world-class airport experience and a wonderful visit for travelers from literally all over the globe. But please don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Let us know what you think. You can contact us at rdu.com/social. And as I take off, I want to share with you a video of your hometown airport. And when that gets done, Denny will come up and have some closing remarks. That was difficult. Denny, you might want to come earlier. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to present to you your hometown airport, RDU.